time. We're all bound by it, and we all feel its pressure. Sometimes time can feel like it's running so fast that we try to run to keep up with it. We're never going to get, whatever it is that we're trying to do, finished in time. Other times, we might be in a situation where time just seems to be dragging on and on and on. Time can be our best friend, and it can be our worst enemy. But one thing is certain, all of us have 24 hours in a day. But not all of us will have the same span of time to play with. All of us find our life is punctuated by these moments where the sands of time have run out for people that we have known and people that we have loved, sometimes too frequently. There's a story in the Gospel of John about exactly that. A story about a man called Lazarus, one of Jesus' best friends. And Lazarus' time has run out. At the moment in the story where Lazarus' time has finished, Jesus is a long way away, and he stays where he is for another couple of days. By the time Jesus arrives in the town called Bethany, where Lazarus and his two sisters live, Lazarus' time is gone, and he's already been in the grave for 4 days. Anyone who's been through this knows that those first few days are surreal. It feels like everyone's sand timer has slipped and gone onto its side. Time goes like that and lingers on in the most bizarre ways. Jesus has arrived at his best friend's funeral. The maker of heaven and earth comes and sees and weeps at the death of his friend. But there's a reason why this particular death is even more poignant for Jesus. Jesus knows that his own sand timer is about to finish. In just a few days' time, the leaders are going to turn on him in a crazy, power-hungry attempt to try and stop him doing what he is doing. They're going to take his sand timer and they're going to dash it to the ground, smashed into a million pieces in front of the whole world. As Jesus looks around at the mourners who are there for his friend Lazarus, it is there in the back of his mind, knowing that some of these people will be mourning him in a few days. As he goes to where the tomb is he grappling with his own sense that he's going to have to grapple with death. And as he sees that stone, which is there in the way of the tomb, is he thinking of how that stone is going to seal him into his own death? But Jesus doesn't focus on those things. Something inside him gets angry, and he starts to speak. He starts to speak to Mary and Martha, the sisters of Lazarus, and to the crowd. He speaks about life. He speaks about hope. He speaks about resurrection, how he is the hope, how he is the life, and he is this resurrection power. He says to Mary and Martha that in just a few moments' time he's going to see God in all of his brilliance. Then he turns to the grave. The stone is rolled away, just like in a few weeks' time, that stone is going to be rolled away from his tomb. And with the confidence that can only come from the creator of the universe, Jesus looks into the darkness of the tomb and he calls Lazarus' name and says to him, "Get up, arise, come out." Oh, how many times have we been in situations? Have we been in situations where it felt like the death of all good things had come to us, that we were in a place of darkness and despair and the end of everything? And we needed to hear the voice of Jesus say to us, "Arise, come out, come out." And this is where, in John's Gospel, the biggest miracle of all happens. The sand timer of Lazarus' life begins to reverse, and he gets up and he walks out covered in his grave clothes, to gasps of amazement by everyone who is there. And Jesus simply says, "Take his grave clothes off him." Ironically, it's this moment in the Gospel of John which is the hinge point where the religious leaders see just how powerful Jesus is. And in their desperation, this is when they put meat on the bones of their plan to be rid of him. The life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus equip every human on the planet, if we want it, to reach out with the courage to say, "I have faith, I believe, let that resurrection power flow through me." The Bible tells us, and my experience tells me, that power is available from the darkness inside us, right the way through to at the end of our life, being confident that God will raise us up at the last day. That resurrection power doesn't begin at our death. It begins the moment we accept Jesus. And we say to him, "I want what it is you're offering. Rebirth me. Let me be one of your children." And our spirit moves from death to life. The sands of time begin to reverse immediately inside us. What happens to this frail body is nothing compared to what happens inside our spirit when we know the living presence of Jesus. So may your faith rise, may your hope grow, and may the darkness around you become light. May you walk out of the tomb that you are in, and may you come into the light of the presence of God as you reach out to him, take hold of his hand, and hear him say to you today, this day,